Right, welcome back. This is Hope at Dawn and my name is Beatrice Watare. Na sasa ni wakati wa kuangalia newspaper so that we can know what is happening in our country. If you're just joining us, welcome. You can let me know where you're tuning from. The number is 0708 222 I would really love to hear from you guys. And even if you have any commentary to make on the news and on the things that I will be highlighting, also you are welcome to do so. So let us begin with the Daily Nation. And of course, the very first page here is that KRA tax shocker for farmers and businesses. So there is a new tax that has been introduced, and it seems as though farmers are now targeted. And it says the Kenya Revenue Authority has rescinded its decision to exempt farmers as well as small businesses with an annual turnover of less than 5 million shillings from the requirement to produce electronic invoices for their sales as the government moves to seal leakages and boost collections from hard to tax areas. This is a story that we will look in more detail. That is on page 7. And of course, we see also on the top page what doctors want will not settle for less despite the threats on our lives. And it says 1,210 is the number of medical interns who are yet to be posted despite the internship policy. Stating that they should be posted 30 days after they graduate. That is also something that we can look at. That is on the health issues. And of course, I see here that more proposals include annual recruitment of doctors as is done by the discipline forces. We also have purchasing of hospital equipment instead of leasing. We have more proposals like encouraging local manufacturing of health products and technologies, amending law to consider human resource for health as development, and also putting health facilities in levels 1, 2, and 3 under counties, while levels 4, 5, and 6 fall under national government. More on the top page, we see Kenya launches Raila campaign for top AU post. Mudavadi woos African envoys in city. That is on page 5. On the top page as well, we see stealing from the needy, audit false counties and on bursaries funds alleges theft. And how amazing it is that this has been exposed, and that's a story on the back page. Now let's get into it. And I see here on the story that is on page 5 on Mudavadi rallies African envoys to back Raila for top AU position. I see that Kenya has formally pitched opposition leader Raila Odinga to peers seeking to have him elected the next African Union Commission AUC chairperson. This is a discussion that we've been having for quite some time now, and we are yet to see how this plays out. I see Prime Cabinet Secretary says Nairobi will use seat to foster ties among African countries. And Musalia Mudavadi has also quoted to say that Africa forms the core of Kenya's foreign policy, and we must ensure we have mutual coexistence and cooperation among African nations. And moving forward on the story that we touched on page 7 is about KRA unveiling tax shocker for farmers and small-scale traders. I see here that farmers and businesses with a turnover of less than 5 million yearly, they will no longer be exempt from producing electronic invoices. And I see here that at a glance, e-teams aimed at sealing leakages. I see the adoption of technology, including the usage of the e-teams, is one of the ways President William Ruto's administration wants to seal leakages. Initially, the e-teams was designed in such a way that taxpayers had to have the internet to generate electronic tax invoices from their smartphones. However, KRA has changed this by enabling every Kenyan to access e-teams through the e-citizen platform and the USSD code, which is star 222 hash. And this, KRA noted, is part of efforts aimed at supporting and facilitating taxpayers to comply with the requirements of the law. Hii mzigo tunaibeba sisi wote. No one is being exempted. That is what is happening. Because again, there are so many people who, just evade tax kidogo too. But we see here that something has come up, and now farmers and also small-scale traders will be required to hand in their invoices through this USSD code, which is star 222 harsh. Kwa hivyo wale ambao wanasema oh, you know, hakuna wifi, hakuna internet, now they don't have that to say because that has been taken care of. But moving forward, I see court clears way for housing bill. A petitioner moved to court last year saying the process was rushed without meaningful and adequate public participation. But in the High Court has dismissed a petition challenging the Affordable Housing Bill 2023, saying there was adequate public participation before the bill was passed. And you know, one time we're having a conversation with the Gigi asking hao watu ambao wanauliza hizi public participation wanakuaga wapi, but I get to realize that there are usually places where kama ni kwa chief ama ni wapi, unapata kwamba kuna mahali ambapo people are being told you can come in freely and you can go there is no limitation. So kwa hivyo unapata kwamba ni sisi wenyewe ambao huwa hatujipeleki in such places because we are not concerned, we are waiting for people to do it and then us we sail through. But then when a public participation is called in, it is important for you as a citizen of this country to make an effort to attend, to go to such places because it's literally everywhere, just so you can get to participate. Ndio isikuje baadaye alafu unaosema wajua tena mambo haya wakati mwingine haezi atarudishwa nyuma. We see here that even though this petitioner has moved to court, that one is a non-issue because it is said that there was proper public participation. So I guess we just have to brace ourselves for that. And at a glance, just know that the bill now is currently before the Senate. That is on page 6. You can get to know that. And I just want to let all the men know, like, you people, don't forget, International Women's Day is actually on the 8th of March, this very Friday. I know most times the women will catch, oh, you didn't even wish me, you didn't wish me. But now we have informed you very well that it is actually International Women's Day on the 8th of March. And moving forward, I see Medics Union wants 15% of budget allocated to health. This is what we have covered as well. And I see the government is yet to post medical interns more than 7 months after they completed training. This is really, really sad because, I mean, most of the time we have always known that a course like medicine, this is something that it is automatic. People are posted. But we see here that so many are even sitting down and they've not been posted. And it's really, really unfortunate because it's taken like 7 months after they completed training. So this is just a bit of a gap that is in our Ministry of Health. And there are so many people who are camped there at the Ministry of Health Afia House looking to be posted somewhere after they finish their courses. And 90% of health functions have been devolved, but the ministry has retained billions of shillings, according to KMPDU. And moving forward, I see audit report reveals lucrative oil import gap in G2G deal. Controversial 17 billion diesel consignment may have a reason from gap in supply scheme. That is a story on page 10. And on the back page, it's the story that we touched on about county bursaries that have been at risk of being embezzled. That is what the COB is saying. Devolved units failed to present documents necessary to verify fund utilization. And we see here that at a glance that counties have failed to provide and produce documents in various counties. Financial reports for the county bursary funds, county executive car loans and mortgage schemes, education and scholarship funds were not submitted for audit. Furthermore, no letters of acknowledgement or receipts from the institutions hosting the benefiting students were presented to confirm that the bursaries had been received by the schools. That's a story on the back page. And moving on to the sporty side of the nation, I see broke Homeboys relegated for the first time in 13 years. And I see here, unfortunately, that the lack of adequate funds has led to departure of key players, leaving team bottom in local competition with no point. Quite unfortunate. And I see here players fault KVF's decision to stop FIB's technical support. A section of the Malkia Strikers team worried that current stalemate may jeopardize progress that has been made. That is on the Daily Nation. And maybe if we can have a look and just skim through the Standard, I see here that court blow for Ruto Gachagua over tribalism. That is the top page. I see judge declares the appointment of 1,000 402 revenue assistants unconstitutional for being skewed in favor of Kikuyu and Kalenjin communities. KRA chairman Anthony Mwaura's home constituencies got the lion's share of the slots. That's a story on page 10. I mean, tribalism is something that we have put aside, we have forgotten about, but then it is still active and playing, especially in our government. This is what we are seeing here for the KRA assistance. And I see here doctors to down tools in the next 7 days. And this, I think, is the same thing that we are seeing even on the other side of the Daily Nation. We have interns who have not been posted for over 7 months. And we see here that doctors are up to actually drop their tools. I see someone holding a banner saying, I have not been paid for 7 months. Our doctors, who is taking care of them as they are taking care of us? And I see here on the top page as well, AU Job Mount Kenya rumbles with talk of new alliances. Raila still making the headlines in the Standard as well. Over the AU position, and I see Nakuru a pale shadow of former industrial giant. Kenyans easily remember the scent of pyrethrum or the aroma of Elliott's or Totsi bread. The warmth of blankets from Nakuru was felt in many homes. But all these are either gone or cannot be recognized because the industries died or downscaled. This is actually a special report on page 4 and 5 where we get to see that these big companies that were there before have gone down. What could be the issue? And I see here Raila's AU ambition jolts political parties set to birth new alliances. And I see here that Mwangi Kiunjuri, who is the Service Party leader, is saying that we must solve our issues behind the tent, but we can't come out clearly as if we are fighting the government of William Ruto. The way we are going, it is as if we have problems with the national government. Look at that story on page 2. Moving on, I see lawyer Taylor in fierce court battle over burnt expensive Italian suit. Hey, when you hear a cloth is from Italy, just know it is pricey, okay? I see plaintiff says a defendant had agreed to pay him 35,000 but reneged on his promise. He claims the respondent's negligence cost him a newly purchased and valuable suit. This is quite interesting, quite interesting. And I see here that according to him, the suit was new and the resident magistrate failed to address her mind to the fact that the respondent admitted in evidence to having been negligent and destroying the claimant's newly purchased valuable and expensive suit in the process, continued Gathemia. You know, when I look at these things, it reminds me of the Bible verse, you know, that talks about us not putting so much of our hearts into things of the world, like the abundance and the riches and the things of this world, whereby we depend so much on them and we are so attached to them to the point that if this happens, then tunaenda kotini. It becomes a reason of argument, a reason of contempt. I think it's important for us to ask ourselves, have we put so much power in things? Ati gari yangu aki mtu akiscratch atajua hajui, like, you know, whereby we have, or even it could be your house, like you're so attached to these things. This one is a suit as well, which literally got burnt. So you find that these people have even gone to court and all that. I think we need to be careful not to attach our lives so much to the things that we own, because the value of our lives is not in the abundance of the properties that we have. That is just something to note. Moving forward, I see spectacular collapse of Nakuru's once budding top industries. Look at that story, and that it's actually a special report on page 4. And I see here on other news that bill sets out stiff penalties for school heads. Basic Education Bill 2024 seeks to introduce harsh penalties, including fines of up to 20 million shillings. Head teachers would be held personally liable for offenses such as charging tuition fees. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that? This is a story on page 8, and especially this issue of whereby you find that teachers are just taking advantage. I mean, it's just yesterday we were talking about even uniforms. unapata kwamba shule zinaitisha pesa nyingi sana just for uniforms. You find that there are so many things that are being charged that should not even be charged. But I believe that this bill is set out to make sure that school head teachers are not taking advantage of our parents, not taking advantage of the students, and asking for more money than they actually require and need. So you can look at that story on page 8, because I see here that the teachers union leaders have actually opposed the reforms, but you can have a look at it. If at all you're a teacher as well, I believe this would be an important story to have a look at. And I see here the story on page 10 where KRA appointments favor Kikuyu and Kalenjin. High Court declares there has been an observation that has been made, and it seems as though Kalenjins and Kikuyus have really been given positions when it comes to the KRA appointments. Are we still struggling with the issues of tribalism? And lastly, here on the back page, I see that Bayern most at risk in Champions League. I see here that Man City made it 7 in a row, beating Copenhagen 3-1 in Denmark. Real Madrid, Man City, PSG take leads into return games. That is on the sports page. And lastly, on the business daily, the very top page, I see here men to cover multiple wives in state health insurance scheme. Then I also see farmers, small traders to file e-teams invoices in KRA U-TAN. In other news, I see here foreigners NSE net sale hits 1 billion in February. And on the back page of the Business Daily, I see here Nissan accused of dumping its electric vehicle pioneers. And let us conclude this with the last word, which says, you will face many defeats in life, but never let yourself be defeated. This is from Maya Angelou, the civil rights activist. All right, so that's it for the newspapers today. I do hope you've been able to get a bit of information, but you can grab a copy of your favorite newspaper, the Standard, Business Daily, or the Daily Nation, and get to be more informed on the same. But don't forget that on Hope FM, at the top of every hour, we have news updates. So that means as you enjoy our programs, as you enjoy the music, you can always get informed. As well as right here on Hope TV, we have Dira and we also have Newswatch. So you can still get informed by catching us at 7 p.m. and also at 9 p.m. So we take a short break as we watch the video of the day, and then when we get back, we will have a conversation about it. Don't go far.